Okay, so for this video, it's a continuation of my last video. Hopefully this is the last one. I may have to do a third one, but I'm going to try not to do that. I'm going to try and keep everything in 2 videos. So today I'm going to improve. I'm going to add things like weapon equip, as well as like fighting mode where he punches and kicks. In order to do that, first I need to I want to start off doing setting up the sockets. So basically what that is, if you don't know, if you want to add just say a gun to the player's hand or his back, then you need to add sockets. So I'm going to go into the skeleton. And in the skeleton, it lists all the skeletons here. And I'm going to put the gun on the back. So I'm going to use the chest. So I'm going to basically right click and add socket. And I need one for his right hand, so I'm going to look for his right hand. Wrist right, I mean. And I'm going to add a socket there. The reason why I'm adding, we use sockets is because you can't parent objects directly to the bone. That's why, for some reason, they made it so that you have to create these sockets to parent things to bones. So I'm gonna save that. Close that. And in my blueprint, I'm going to select my mesh, and I'm going to temporarily under animation, I'm going to pause anims. Actually, no, I'm going to put him an animation asset. That way he's in a DaVinci pose because nothing's specified into anim right now. So I'm going to work on this while he's absolutely still. Oops. And I'm going to add a couple scenes. So scene is basically an empty object. And one's going to be called chest socket. I'm going to do one more called wrist right socket. And I want to unparent it. And I want to take both of these. In order for this to work, they have both of them have to be parented to the mesh. So I'm going to dump them in the mesh. With the wrist right socket selected, I'm going to click here, parent socket, and click on wrist right. But for some reason, as you can see, it disappeared. For some reason, whenever I specify the parent socket, it throws it off screen. So as you can see, it says it's 100.57 Z, so I'm going to make that 0 again. Then it comes back to where it's supposed to be, which is the right socket. Chest socket, same thing. Going to go to parent socket, chest socket, and again it goes off screen. Gonna go here, set it to 0, and it goes back to where it's supposed to be, at the bottom of the chest. So now I'm gonna add static mesh. This is going to be gun back, and I'll create another static mesh called gun wrist. So for this, For static mesh, I'm going to select FS gun, and same thing for this one, FS gun. So I'll start with the gun on the back. So all I have to do is rotate it around, just place it where I want. So that one's good. This one I'm going to rotate 90 this way. Maybe this way. I'll put the rotation to 5. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. I think that's maybe up one more. Okay, I think that's good enough. So all I have to do is drag and drop these into the sockets. So wrist right goes into wrist right socket. Gun back goes into chest socket. So now if I select the mesh, and in the animation asset, I go back to use animation blueprint, then as you can see the gun moves with this little idle animation. The one on the back can actually come down a little bit, it's a little bit high. In the gun and the wrist, by default it's invisible, so I'm going to go down here and I want to uncheck visible. It'll compile that. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is I need to create some lens bases. So for my last tutorial, I created this idle walk run lens base, so I need to create 2 more. One for the fighting stance and one for when he's aiming the gun. So go here, right click, animation, lens base, select the skeleton, FS, aiming, BSP. And I'm going to create one more. Lens base, FS, fighting, BSP. So I'll open those up. instead of having both of them open, I can just toggle between them here. So, naming. First, as before, I'll do speed forward for the horizontal. So if you don't know what's going on here, I explained what all this is in the last video. So speed forward, speed side is the name of the horizontal and vertical axis respectively. The values are 1200. And 6 subdivisions. That means minus 1200 to 1200 in the horizontal. So 0 is in the dead center, and this is divided up into 6 sections. And same thing for the speed side. So speed forward, this horizontal axis is forward of the character and the backwards. The speed side, which is the vertical, is the left-hand side of the character and the right side. So with all that set up, I'm going to drag and drop the aim animations. I'll spin this around so it's get a better view. And I'm going to pause the animations because I think it's going to slow things down. Aim goes into about 400. And the run goes all the way to 1200. So if I press Control and move this little green thing, I don't want to click the play button because I'm afraid that it's going to crash in the middle of the tutorial, so I'm just going to leave it for now. And I'm going to go to fighting. Same routine. Speed forward. Minus 1200. 1200. 6 divisions. Speed side. Minus 12. 1200. And 6. So the animations are called fist up, okay, so I forgot to make some animations for the idle and walk for when he's in the fighting stance. So drag the idle in the middle. Walk in 400. And I didn't bother making one for a run. I'm just going to use. Oops. I'm just going to use the regular run. I don't imagine it's very easy to run with your dukes up, so I'm just gonna this. When it's running, it just goes into regular running mode. Okay, so that's good enough. I'm gonna go over here, save all. Double check. Okay, I got all that. So now, in the main blueprint, I need to create a couple variables. One's going to be called is aiming, and another one is fighting. So I'm going to compile that. The NBP. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out here, get all factors of class. So if you watch the previous tutorial, it did all this out of the event blueprint update animation. So from here, I'm going to do this drop down, and I want to select the FS BP. Pull out, cast to FS FSBP. And I want to pull out object, and I want to get copy. Oh no, wait. It's over here. Get a copy. So I have to pull out of here to get it. I'm going to plug this into object. So it's kind of hard to explain why. I don't have a really good explanation as to why they do it this way, but all I'm doing is just getting a reference to the FSBP. I could have just used, if you're watching the previous tutorial, you know that I stored the FSBP in this variable. I suppose I could have just used that to reference stuff from the FSBP, but I'm just going to do it like this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and grab these two booleans that I just created in the FSBP from the NMBP. So I'm going to pull out is aiming, get is aiming, and is fighting. Get is fighting. So I need to create this exact same booleans in the NMBP. So is aiming and is fighting. So I'm going to drag these out, and I'm going to get setters. So set is aiming, and set is fighting. So all I'm really doing is I'm getting the values of these variables from the FSBP and setting those values into the exact same variables in this NMBP. just like that. Compile this first. There we go. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so I'm going to compile that, and I want to go into the anim graph. So I'm going to grab all this, and I'm going to pull out. I'm going to, oops, I'm going to right click on here and break this link. So basically I need two nodes called blend poses by boolean. And I'm going to copy and paste this because I need two of them. And I'm going to drag out the is aiming, get is aiming, the value, if it's true or false, and as well as the is fighting. So basically what's going on here is this is like the regular idle walk and run, but as soon as it passes through here, if is aiming is false, so if this boolean happens to be false, then this passes through, as well as this one here. If is fighting happens to be false, oops, wrong one. This goes down here. If it's false, then it passes through here. So if both of these are false, then the regular state passes through both of these nodes, and then it goes straight into this slot default pose, and ultimately to the this output node here. So if either of these happen to be true, then in that case I need to grab the other two BSPs like this one here. So first one is aiming, FS aiming BSP, and fighting. BSP. I need to copy these two here. Plug these in. So if just say if this aiming it happens to be true, then this one passes through, and then this one gets blocked. If is fighting happens to be true, then this is fighting BSP passes through, and anything that came before that, whether it's this aiming BSP or the idle block run BSP, both of these get blocked. So whatever's in this true thing is the only thing that passes through. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. I'm gonna compile that, and gotta go back into project settings. If you don't have this open, I'm just going to edit project settings, and then from here I go into input, and I gotta add two inputs under action mappings, not axis mappings, but action mappings. I'm going to create one called equip, and I'm going to create another one. It's going to be called attack. So I'm going to drop both these down, The equip is going to be middle mouse button. So if I click the middle mouse button, I can equip the different either different weapons or put it into like the fighting mode. And for the attacker, it's going to be left mouse button. So all my inputs, run, equip, attack, they're all mouse buttons. So I'm going to quickly go here, save all. So I'm going to hop over to the FSBP. Under the basic inputs is where I had all my blueprint coding for the movement, the run, and the camera movement with the mouse. So over here, I'm going to call up the two inputs that I just created. So the first one is equip, and the other one is attack, action events. So for the equip, first I'm going to create a variable called equip number, and I'm going to change it to float. And as you can see here, default value has nothing there. The reason why is it hasn't been compiled yet, but as soon as it's compiled, the default number is 0, so I'm just going to leave it like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out of here, I'm going to make a branch. So once the equip button, the middle mouse button is pressed, it's going to check to see if equip number is equal to 0. So if equip number is equal to 0, then it's going to do whatever is in true. So by default it's 0. So if it's 0 and the button is pressed, then equip number is going to be set to the next number, which is going to be 1. And the first state that I want is fighting, the fighting stance. So if I select on is fighting, by default is unchecked, so it's false. But as soon as equip number is changed to 1, it's going to be true. And what that's going to do is it's going to, since it's getting that information in the NMBP, it's going to set this to true. And if that's true, then this is true, which means this fighting BSB passes through, while these two get blocked, because these two are going through the false. However, if I'm going to copy and paste this, if equip number equals 0 is false, then it's going to check to see if equip number is 1. And if that's the case, then first it's going to move it up to the next number, which is 2. This is fighting boolean is going to set to false. So when it's 1, it's going to be set to true, to fighting. When it's the next number 2, then it's going to get set to his fightings would be set to false, and his aiming is going to be set to true. Another thing that I have to do is set visibility, put the gun back, set visibility of the gun wrist. So if the gun is equipped, So if is aiming, then the gun on the back is not visible, so I keep it unchecked. But the one in the hand, which is by default invisible, is going to be set to visible, so this has to be checked. So hopefully this is making sense so far. I know it's getting pretty hairy. The coding could, after a while, starts to look like a plate of spaghetti, but it is what it is. So I'm going to copy all this, and if this is false, if equip member is not, if it's not 0, then it passes through false, and if it's not 1, then it passes through false again, and then it checks to see if it's true. If it's true, then I'm going to set it back to 0 because I don't have another one after. I've only got 3 states. I've got the regular idle lock run, I've got the fighting stance and aiming, and after aiming it gets set back to just idle lock run. So I won't be needing this. Is aiming is set to false. Gun on the back visibility is set to true again, and gun on the wrist set to false. Okay, so I'm going to compile that. Okay, so I'm just going to explain that really quick again, just to make sure that you understand it. So when equip number is 0, just say the middle mouse button is pressed and the equip number is 0, which means he's not in fighting stance and he does not have a gun equipped. Then equip number gets set to 1 and he is in fighting stance. So first button pressed, he's in fighting stance. Second time you press it, he goes from fighting stance to aiming. So that's why equip number changes from 1 to 2. In the third scenario, he goes from aiming, equip number being 2, to nothing equipped. So no fighting stance, no aiming, no nothing. And equip number goes from 2 over here to 0. So it's like a big loop, it loops around. This attack I'm going to come back to in a bit. First I'm going to select everything, press C. I'm going to name it equip, and I want to give it a bubble, so I'll click on this box here. Okay, compile again. So I want to hit play just to demonstrate. So I go over here and I press the middle mouse button. He's in fighting stance. I can move around. Okay, so if I press the middle mouse button again, he equips the gun. And the gun is no longer on his back. The problem with this is that this is not usually how the shooting modes are done. Usually it's in a third person shooting mode where if I rotate the camera, his body should rotate as well. And the camera usually moves closer to him to the right of his body. So usually, not always, but usually the character's body's closer into the left of the screen space. So that's one thing that I need to change. So I'm going to go back into the code and I'm going to add that. So the first thing is when he goes from is fighting. Oops, I'm going to make this bigger, I need more space. So when he goes from equip number 1, which is fighting mode, to aiming, then in aiming, I want to get a control rotation yaw, and by default it's set to false, so I'm going to set it true here. And I'm going to do I'm going to use the exact same thing down here, except I'm going to set it to false. So now I'm going to uncheck it. So when he goes from aiming to not aiming, he's no longer rotating with the mouse rotation for the camera movement. Another thing that I need to add is the placement of the camera. So I want to grab the camera, and I want to get a component called move component 2. It says under overtime, I'm going to put 1, so over 1 second. So I need to copy this and put it here. I'll deal with this one first. So over the duration of 1 second, as you can see, if I select the camera location, and rotation is all zeros. So whenever the gun is equipped, I would like the camera to be closer to his body and a little bit to the right, and usually it's going to be on an angle like this. So I'm just going to see what these values are. 140, 143, 143, 80, and minus 10 degrees. So 143, 143 in the X, 80 in the Y, and then minus 10 in the Z rotation. So I'm going to set all these back to 0. Oops. So move all this down a little more. So I can make room for this. So when he goes from fighting stance to his aiming, the use control rotation yaw is turned on, set to true, and the camera moves to this new location. When the equip button or the middle mouse button is pressed again, it goes from aiming to normal mode. When that happens, use control rotation yaw is set to false, and the camera, over the duration of 1 second, goes to the default position, which is all zeros. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to, first I'll save all. And I'm going to hit play, try this out. First I'll walk out here, and then press the middle mouse button once, he's in fighting stance. And if I press the middle mouse button again, even though he's facing the camera, he should immediately flip around because he's conforming to the rotation of the camera, the spring arm, or the mouse rotation, whichever you want to look at it as. So if I press it again, There we go. As I rotate the camera around with the mouse, his body rotates with it, which is perfect. This is how a third-person shooter should be. The only thing is, I think his body could be a little bit more to the left of the screen, and the camera can be a little bit closer. So I'm going to escape out of that. I'm just going to check again. What did I have before? 143.80. Oops. 143.80 minus 10. So this is what it was before. I would like it to be a little bit closer so we can get more detail, and maybe a little bit more to the right. So I'm looking at 173.92. So 173.92. And I need to change all these back to 0, 0, 0 as the default. And I'm going to compile. And I'm going to try that again. Running out here. It's an fighting stance. If I press the button, move around. If I press it again. Okay, this is a lot better, I think. Usually you want, I think it's just visually way more appealing if he takes up more of the screen space. And if he's more to the left, he leaves more space on the right of the screen so you can see what's going on off into the distance, and you can see all the enemies and stuff. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. But as you can see, the one thing I have to add now is spine rotation, because if I just say look up, then he keeps on looking forward. So I could be aiming at something in the sky, but his body's forward. Same thing with if I look down. Same deal. He's still looking straight forward. So I could have fixed that. And just to show you, I'm going to press the middle mouse button again. His gun is in his back, and he's in regular mode now. So he no longer rotates with the camera anymore. Okay. So I lost a bit of my recording, so I'm going to explain again what I just did. So in the FSBP, the character BP, I created two variables, one called extra rotation and the other one called extra rotation alpha. The extra rotation is variable type rotator, which is, as you can see, it's got three values, x, y, z, and extra rotation alpha is the float, so it's only got one. So in the anim BP, in the event graph, I basically get a reference to those two through the cast to FSBP, and I pull those out, and I take those and I store that information into two more variables that I created here with the exact same name. So I have an extra rotation and extra rotation alpha. The first one is also a rotator again. Where is it? Yeah, so rotator, and extra rotation alpha is a float. So I plug all those values in to extra rotation to extra rotation alpha to extra rotation alpha. Then I go to the atom graph, and originally this was connected straight to the output, but what I did was I'll just disconnect this. This link. Actually, I can just delete these. So originally this oops, this slot, default slot, was connected directly to the output post, but what I did was I disconnected those. You disconnect by selecting a connection and then clicking on break this link. So right in the middle of it, I right clicked and created a transform modified bone, which gave me this. And all I'm doing is I'm getting these two variables, get extra rotation and get extra rotation alpha, and I'm plugging these values into the alpha and into the rotation. And as soon as I connect these again, it automatically creates these nodes. It converts them from local to component. And when I go this way, it goes from component to local. And one last thing that I need to change is with this selected, I need to go to bone, modify bone, and select the bone that I want. So in this case, I'm using spine 1, which is right above the spine base. And when I scroll down to rotation, under rotation mode, by default it's set to ignore, but I'm going to do add to existing. I don't want to do replace existing. When he's in aiming mode, his bones are rotated a little bit, so I'm going to add to what's already there. I'm not going to replace it. And the component or the rotation space can be left to component space. So after all that was done, I pressed compile. I went over to the FSBP again. I created, I right clicked and I created a custom. I did add custom event, which created this red node, which is this here. And I gave it the name extra rotation tick, and I hooked the extra rotation up to the event tick and the event graph. So the event tick is every tick for of the game, as it for every tick it constantly triggers this, which makes this constantly fire. As this is constantly firing, it's checking this this equip number in this branch. So it's checking to see if equip number is equal to 2. If it's equal to 2, that means he's aiming with the gun. If it's not, if it's false, then he's not aiming with the gun. He's either in just regular mode, either the idle block run mode, or he's in fighting stance. If that's the case, if it's false, then extra rotation is set to 0, and extra rotation alpha is also set to 0. If, however, if equip number is 2, or he is aiming, that means extra rotation alpha is set to 1, and extra rotation, first I need to right click and get control rotation, which is the rotation of the mouse. And with that, I right click on the return value, and I'm going to do split struct pin, and I'm going to do the same thing with this split struct pin. And basically, if I'm trying to rotate that bone with this camera rotation, if I'm trying to rotate the bone with this extra rotation node or this variable, then I should be rotating the pitch. But because his upper body is slightly rotated to the right while he's looking forward, I need to be rotating his X rotation, which is the rule. So this may sound odd, but I need to connect the pitch of the mouse, which is the up and down look, and plug that in not into the Y but into the X. And I'm also going to actually pull out again, and I'm going to look for a multiply. I'm also going to multiply that by -1. The reason why is because when I drag the mouse down, I want it to look up, and when I drag the mouse forward, then he needs to look down. So with all that done, I'm going to compile, and I'm going to hope that this works. So I'm going to hit play. So if I walk out, hit the middle mouse button, he's in fighting stance, and hit it again, he's aiming. So if I look up, then as you can see, he's rotating up. And the reason why the camera is moving forward is because it's colliding with the ground, which I can fix later. And if I look down, then his spine rotates down, and he's pointing down as well. Okay, and if I press the mouse button again, his gun is unequipped, and he's in regular mode. Okay, perfect. I'm almost done now. So I'll quickly save all. So the last thing that I want to do is the punches and kicks. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to first select this, press C, call this extra rotation. Click here to create a bubble, and I'm going to work with this here. So this is the attack. When the attack is pressed, I'm going to check to see if equip number is equal to 1. Actually, the first one I'm going to make it 0. So 0 is when nothing's equipped. He's not in fighting stance, and he's not aiming the gun. So first one 0, nothing's equipped. Equip number 1. Equip number is equal to 1 is when he's in fighting stance, and equip number 2 when he's aiming. So this is the attack button. So I have nothing. I'm going to keep this unconnected because I don't have anything right now. And equip number 2, I'm not going to cover at all, I don't think. I'm just going to worry about equip number 1. So when equip number 1 is, or if equip number is equal to 1, then it's going to check to see. First, I need to create another variable called which attack. If which attack equals 0, I'm going to do this the exact same style that I did the equip. And then I'm going to, if it's true, set which attack to 1. And I want to do play animation in mesh, and this is going to be FS. So this is the punch left. So if it's 0, this gets set to 1 and he does punch left. Copy this whole thing. I'm going to paste it. Oops. One, two, three. So if this is false, it's going to check to see if it's equal to 1, and if it's equal to 1, then it gets set to 2. If this is false, then it's going to check if which attack is equal to 2. If it's equal to 2, then it's going to set which attack to 3. And if this is false, if it's which attack is not 2, then it's going to check to see if it's equal to 3. And if it is equal to 3, then it's going to set which attack to 0. So, first scenario is punch 1, or punch left. Second scenario is punch right. Third scenario is kick left. And the last scenario is kick right. So all this basically is if a player presses the attack button multiple times, it goes through 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, then it leaps 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to compile that and I'm going to try now. So I'll just face right, press the middle mouse button, and then I'll press the attack button. So he does punch left, punch right, kick, and kick right. You can barely see it. So if I press it again, punch left, punch right, kick left, and kick right. I'm not sure, you can barely see the two kicks. I'm not sure why. I think it's because my laptop is like so slow. But yeah, it's supposed to be a kick animation. But anyways, hopefully, oh, I don't know what happened there. Oh, that's so strange. Something's not working. I'm just gonna try that once more. This time I'm not gonna attack, I'm just gonna change the equip number. So I'm gonna press the middle mouse button. He's in fighting mode. If I press it again, he's aiming. If I press it again, he's in normal mode. Okay, for some reason, the punches and kicks are interfering with the equip for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not going to worry about it right now. I think everything is good. This is all. The only reason why I wanted to do this is because I really like this model that I created of this futuristic soldier, and I just wanted to see what it looked like in Unreal. If um, you go to my YouTube channel, I have lots of videos where I do this exact same thing where I set up the character and make him aim and attack and do the extra rotation and everything. The only reason why I did it again was number one, I want to create another in case people don't see my other videos. This will like increase the chances of them seeing one of my videos where they do a basic third-person setup. That's one reason. The other reason is I just wanted to see what this model would look like if it was implemented, and I'm quite happy with it. Yeah, this is going to be the last video of this series. It's only just a two-part series, so I'm just going to cut it off here, and I'm just going to say that this is the end of the series. I'm not going to work on this anymore. So, but there's going to be more videos coming up, so please stay tuned if you're interested in more Unreal stuff. And also my channel has a bunch of other things, whether it's like um, other engines like Unity or like 3D modeling stuff with software like Blender, or even like traditional stuff. I'll be also doing some 2D games as well. So if you are looking for other types of things, be sure to check out my channel because I have a lot of other stuff that's not just Unreal stuff. So anyways, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in future videos. Okay, thanks.